Well, hey, greetings, everybody. Good evening, good day, good now, wherever you are. Welcome to Tech Tip Tuesday. Here we are, July 12th, approaching the middle of the month already. And man, it is a scorcher out here in my neck of the woods. Now, I'm in Washington State, so you guys are in Arizona or some of those places. I have no comparison, but it's a warm one today. Today I am flying solo, everybody. So I don't have a co-host, but we do have Miguel in the background. He is in the chat room with the lightning fingers helping out with the answers. So welcome, Miguel, from our Healy World Tech Support. I'm glad you're here. We are doing a Tech Tip Tuesday. If you guys haven't been here before, then welcome. I'm glad you're here. If you have been here before, you already know the deal, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it anyway. So what we do here is this is a chat-based forum. Put your questions in the chat, and then I will bring them out and unpack them as best as I can. I've been with Healy for about a little over 2.5 years now. My background is electronics engineering. I'm also versed in the epigenetic phenomenon of life. So it's usually a little fun discussion every now and then with some of our challenges. And of course, I like to unpack things a little bit more. So what we can't do, though, sorry about this, but we can't diagnose, treat, or prevent any disease, disorder, or recommendations for programs that you might want to use to align yourself. So we won't be talking about that. We're not talking about the compensation plan or the back office, but we are able to talk about like the apps, the technology, the Healy operation systems, that kind of stuff. So yay, thank you for being here. What else we got? I think that's a bit about it. Let's get started. I don't know if we got anything in the chat just yet, but that's okay. Everybody's just coming in, getting comfy. Coffee's over there in the corner, tea's over there. I mean, you guys, your corner, right? Welcome. Hey, Paula, thanks for being here. Hi, guys. Anything you want to put in the chat? Let's see what we got. So Pam's got a question here about when you're using the wristbands, does crossing your hands have any effect? Great question. So in other words, if you got the wristbands on and you're touching like this, does it have an effect? So we are running current from one wrist to the other, and the bands themselves, the inner side of the band is a highly conductive silicone material, and you put a little moisture on there, a little conductive gel, and it connects to your skin. Now, typically the fingertips and pads are not real conductive unless you get them wet, right? I mean, you can get a little bit of conduction from your fingertips, not a lot. So the wrists and the skin in the wrists are a little bit more sensitive, and you're going to get a lot better conduction. So crossing your hands or crossing your arms, really the signal is going systemically from one side of your body to the other. There's still going to be electron flow crosstalk, what we call crosstalk, when you have the fingers interlaced like that, or the arms, bare arms interlaced, or even if you're sitting with your hands on your face like that, right? But it's really, really insignificant. The amount of current flow through the body and the electron flow is huge, because if we look at electron, each cell has trillions of electrons within the cell itself. And so we're getting a really good conduction from one side of the body to the other. So really there's not an effect. It's not going to null it. You would have to actually like really wet your hands and try to hold them really tight to try to get any kind of heavy duty crosstalk. You're still going to, even doing that, you're still going to get good current flow through the rest of your body. All right. So great question though. Means you're kind of thinking, right? What's out there? What's out of the box? I like it. So there's another question. One of my programs won't let me increase the intensity greater than 25%. It was the mental well-being. I think, is that normal? No, that's not. That's not normal. So what I would suggest is that you hard close the app and reopen it and give it another try, because that's not normal. You should have the ability to go all the way to 0 or all the way up to 100. So, so go ahead and hard close the app and when I'm talking about hard close the app, it's not like you're just swiping it off the screen. Hard close means that you have to understand how to do that. If it's iOS or if it is Android, and even with the Apple systems, there's 2 different ways in which you can hard close an app. If you're not sure how to do that, I promise you there's an awesome YouTube video that'll help you out. So just go to YouTube and search for hard close, and that's the keyword, hard close an app on Android or whatever you've got. All right. Can you use the dots or the wristbands interchangeably? Yes, Pam, you can. That's a really cool thing. In fact, the app, the newest version of the app for the US shows little round circles, right? In certain places on the body where we would connect. And in regards to the actual wrists, when you have that little dot, the wristband and the sticky pads are interchangeable. So you can put them on your wrist. In fact, I know people that put them on their ankles. In fact, you can even get really innovative, and you can use Velcro extension strips, and you can put them like around your leg. I've done that before. Put the straps around like on each end of the knee, because the reason I would do that is because the surface area of the strap, the square inches or square centimeters, right, of the strap is more than the round sticky pad. The round sticky pad is like 1.25 square inches, and the straps are about 6 square inches of surface area conducting the body or contacting the body. So you get more surface area contact, meaning a better transfer of energy. All right. Is there any benefit to using the wristbands on your feet closer to the problem area? Yeah, so there's a benefit to doing that. Okay, let's see what's next. Once a month without fail, my pro shuts down Bioenergetic Vitalisation for 2 days. What's up with that? That's a great question. If it is a subscription, if it's an older model and it's subscription based, then that would be the only reason I would see that that's an issue. That would be something I would definitely put a customer service ticket in, because there's some reason that your that particular function is on a cycle. It shouldn't be. If you've got the newer style, after July of 7th, I think it was July 7th, everybody has, or I should say the pro, you're going to have that bioenergetic vitalization as a forever thing. It's not a subscription. All right. So yeah, definitely. And Miguel, if you want to chime in there and say anything about that in the chat, anything you're familiar with, but it's should not be shutting down on you, like, especially when it's very, very consistent like that. That's odd. All right. Amy asks, what is the optimal percentage to run with the wristbands? And this is another great question, because really it's about you. I mean, we have, some of us have a much better flow of energy within our bodies. The skin is different in terms of conductivity, but the truth is that you can set it to any setting where you get the white indicator right on the display. So you get the white indicator, meaning that you've got proper conduction. And that white indicator or black indicator, you know what I'm talking about? It's where the little red dot is your progress in time around the circle of the app, but behind it is a tail that's either white, gray, or black, by the way. I know if you guys haven't seen gray before, but gray just means there's no measurement taken. It's not that there's a malfunction or anything like that. Just some of the acute mental programs don't actually take a measurement, because you're working with like the brachial plexus up here where you put the sticky pads. They're not actually taking a measurement, but you're still getting the energy. So if you've got a white indicator, that means that you're above the minimum threshold that Healy has established as conductive in your body. And therefore the electron flow is proper. right? And all you need is proper electron flow to get the frequencies through your body. On the high scale of that, when you're cranking it up and you're feeling this pulsations and these maybe even twitches or any of that kind of stuff, on the high side of that, that's actually happening. It can happen. And our awareness, when the system gets our attention, or this sensation in our body gets our attention, it starts to sway the body perhaps from the parasympathetic to sympathetic. In other words, from rest and digest over to a stress response. We don't want that. We don't want that. So really go to where you can feel it and then back it off a little. And I also want to suggest that you look at the actual frequencies being applied in the moment, because frequencies that are, say, below 500 hertz, those are going to take a little more power to get to the body. So you may have to up the amplitude to get that to go through in order to keep it white, right? But the higher frequencies are a little more closer to energy, and they'll go through easier. So the lower frequencies are closer to the density of our body, take a little more power. So use those as your gauge as to where to set that. And then the second one is, of course, the sensation. You shouldn't be feeling it. You can, I just don't want you to, I don't want your psychology to start to negate the effects of the biology, because the cells will, if they're agitated, the cells will be less receptive. Okay. All right. Okay. I keep getting white and black screen on the Blue Dot app happening on my iPhone 8 and 11. So we just got a new update, by the way, for the Blue Dot. This was like maybe a day ago, right? So go to your app store. Go to your app store and open the app from there, and you'll see the newest updates. Okay, 12.4, something like that. Anyway, go there, open it from there, and that's going to pull in the latest update and the most current version. But if this is a consistent chronic issue, I always recommend step one: shut down your smart device, shut down your smartphone, right? Step two, check for any updates that are available for your smart device software. When Healy does these updates on their software, on the apps, they're doing it to accommodate software done by the operating systems, whether it be Android or Apple. So it's important that you get your software updated so that it's going to be coherent with the Healy software. So shutting your device off, making sure it is updated. Those are two really important things. The blue screen thing, if it's really chronic, it's possible that the app has some kind of a corruption. So what do? Deleting the app and reinstalling the app. I get great success by just loading it from the app store, because that's going to give kind of the most current. And remember, if you do find that deleting the app and reinstalling the app is necessary, you're going to want to try to back up before you do that. Try to back up your Blue Dot to the cloud, to your Healy cloud. And then after you've deleted the app, you're going to want to shut your smart device off and then turn it back on before you reinstall. So it clears all of the different settings and such. Okay. Pam says, well, maybe this is a Jake question. Okay, we're done. He's not here. No. But are the supply chain disruptions going to affect the production of the MagHealy? Well, there was a bit of an issue with getting us some components, but the point is that what they're doing is getting enough inventory. We just had this contest, right, to the Healy Olympics. And so we're going to make sure that everybody who worked hard and they won a 100% off of the MagHealy, that there's inventory to cover all those. And then again, it's making sure that there's proper inventory when we launch here in the United States. It's hard to predict. I mean, honestly, we say, okay, we got 200,000 members, and maybe, let's just say 40% are going to buy a MagHealy. So we want to have that number right in the warehouse. So, but even so, shipments are going to come one after another. So it's a matter of getting manufacturing up, and then that supply starts to run. So we'll just, you know, put that intention out there. Put that intention out there that we've got the flow, right? All right. Is it okay to use the coil with the natural cycle, or is it better to use the wristbands? So if you notice on all of your programs that there is essentially an optimization icon or an IMF individualized frequency, individualized microcurrent frequency, IMF. If you'll notice that there is this little icon to the top right of the circle in the middle of your app, right? That's an icon saying it's optimized for an IMF program. And the description of the program itself, when you go into your pink dot and you open it, you go to choose a program. It'll tell you optimized for the coil. It'll tell you right there. And if it doesn't, then it's not. So that's the easiest way is to use the actual program itself. Okay. All right. Let's see. Miguel's in the background with his lightning fingers, getting everybody some answers. Nice job. Thank you, sir. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So Reverend Lindsay, yep, found that just simply doing an update within the app works to get the new version. And yes, that new version, it is correct. Just simply doing an update within the app. Now, let's back up for a minute. Doing an update within the app, let's say it's the pink dot. That's going to go and see if there were any changes to the programs within the app. Okay, anything from any of your pages, if there's any updates or changes to that. In the blue dot, there's not really an update. There's a log in and log out, or there's a synchronization kind of process. But neither one of those actually pulls in a new version of the app itself. Okay, you got to actually go to your app store and open it from your app store. And when you go to the app store, what you'll see is you'll see a little blue oval that either says open or update. And if it says update, then obviously that means that there's an update for that particular application. Okay. Yeah, all the new releases. I think it just came through like 2 days ago. There was an update. Okay. I think caught up. You know, you can also tell when you go and open your Blue Dot app, the ideal scenario is that when you go to open it, in other words, you just tap on the app on your smart device. The first screen gives you a list of versions, right? The newest versions. And that's kind of an indicator like, okay, either I'm just now launching this app for the first time, or there was an update that was provided to our carrier. And now we have a new version of the app. That just happened just a couple of days ago. And like I said, it went from, let me see, I think I actually have it here on my screen. There was some changes that was optimizing the app. Yeah, I'm not seeing it right off the bat. Okay. Anyway, you know that you can go to your app store and open that. I want to give you guys a little hack, a little workaround. Some of the folks, everybody who's got like the iPhone 13, you know, you've got the 3 cameras on there, even some of the iPhone 12s that can't scan the QR code on your Healy because the QR code is really small, and the photo, the camera won't actually, it can't focus on it when you try to enlarge it, and it won't scan. Well, let me give you a little hack. It takes the ability to take a picture of that QR code and print it out in a bigger form. If you print out in a bigger form, then these cameras will read it. It just needs to be a little bit bigger. So I know until there's a fix to the app, it's these cameras. They're getting better and better and better, but they're just not doing a great job of scanning those teeny little QR codes. But if you blow it up, you print it out, or I have two phones, two smart devices. I took a picture of the QR code with one phone, put it on the screen, blow it up, and then I just scan that, right? And it works really well. It takes two devices, but you can always type it in manually, but it's, takes a minute. It takes a few seconds longer. Okay. So let's see, here's another question. For new users, could you explain how sometimes when the program doesn't close, you can tap the circle, and then tap the X, then close it that way. With iPhone 12, I have to close most previously used programs that way. So, in order to close the program, okay, let's go this for a minute. When you're running the Healy, and remember when you're doing the pink dot, you send the content to the Healy. So in other words, you choose a program, you say start, it puts all of the program operations onto the Healy hardware. And then you don't actually need the app anymore. You can close the app or you can monitor the app and do whatever you want. The Healy will still run for the length of the program. Well, basically for the maximum length of the program. It'll continue to run. Now, let's say that you turn the app off. You'll see on your Healy, the Bluetooth light will shut off. If you turn the app off, the Bluetooth light will shut off, meaning that the wireless connection between the Healy hardware and the app or your smart device is off, but the green light continues to flash. That means the program is still running. It just means that there's still time left in the program. It'll still run. And it'll do that all the way up until the end of the program. And then it automatically shuts off. Okay. The only other way to turn it off is to press the off button on the Healy, and that'll reset it or turn it off. Or as mentioned, the other way to do it is in the app to tap the circle, and then an X shows up. It basically puts the program in pause mode. An X shows up, you click the X, and then that shuts off the program in the Healy. But it's designed to be able to run without the app. Once you load it on the Healy, it runs by itself. Also want you to know that when that one program is all done, and say the green light goes off, and 2 or 3 hours later, you decide I'm going to turn my Healy on, within 30 seconds, it starts to run the last program loaded already in it. Right. So if there's a program you like to run all the time, every day, you don't have to load it again. It's already in there. You just hit the on button. It'll start running automatically within a few seconds. And you can also then open the app after the fact, and it will show you where the progress is. The app will automatically open within the program that's running on the Healy. It's kind of cool. Okay. Yeah. So that's not a problem, by the way, if you're having to like manually shut it off or you want it to stop in some fashion. It doesn't affect anything as far as how it operates or runs. Okay. Awesome. We don't have any more questions at the moment. That's okay. That's all right. Oh, just kidding. All right. So Reverend Lindsay is saying that that's great because during the night with sleep, if I wake up and I can't get back to sleep, I just hit the button again, right? Starts right up again. Yeah. Now, yeah, you can do that over and over and over again. Let's see. And sleep defense starts again. Now, remember, it's interesting how sometimes often it starts at 15% or the default setting. Often it'll start at the default setting, not whatever your last setting was. So you have to kind of go in there and adjust that if you like. But even at 15%, I want you to understand that when you're getting conduction, even now, I'm going to tell you another little hint. Folks that are really sensitive to energy and frequency or the current flow, that you can have a black indicator. In other words, it's saying it's below the minimum threshold of current flow. That's all that means, below the minimum threshold of current flow. That's by Healy standards. They can still feel it. And you can still feel it because there's still current flow. It's just that it's below a certain standard that Healy set as the minimum. All right. Where can you get the Healy holders and that I'm wearing right now? So these are super cool. Reverend Lindsay's got one. I've got one. So we were in Orlando and there was a group there from Mexico that had made these and brought them over and had them available for people. It was a super great idea. So far, they're not available in anywhere else. I know that there's some things in the works, but there's so far there's not really. There is a group that has them. I don't have all their contact information, but keep looking, keep the intention going, or be super resourceful. Make something like this, right? There you go. Do you know that these laser printers these days? Yep. These laser printers can make these little plastic guys right here. It's pretty cool stuff. There's software today that we can get our hands on that can do scans, digital, and I should say laser scans, and make things. It's awesome. All right. There's a question in here about a root canal. So I can't really, so this is kind of going along the lines of recommendations. Can people have root canal or amalgam can they use Healy? There's a lot of information about the current flow in the body isn't pulling things out. If you've got toxic burden in the body, there's going to be Healy's going to address that, but it's not doing things to pull that out of your teeth. There are some studies, and I don't have those. There is some studies in terms of what's happening there. There are no contraindicators around the fillings, so that Healy's put some stuff together to give you what you shouldn't do or who should not use Healy, but that's not in there. Anything about fillings. Let's see. All right. Marjorie's asking about client reports that she tries to start the program on the pink dot, and it starts to run and then switches back over to the menu page. Yeah, we've been having that kind of issue. Should she just reset by holding down the power button? Is this a device issue or something the company's? It's not a device issue. It's not Healy. It's most likely the app. Start it again. That's known in terms of IT knows it's going on, and there was 2 updates being built, one for the blue dot, one for the pink dot. I have not seen the pink dot yet, but that issue has been addressed, so it's coming. But the workaround right now is just hard close the app and reopen it. Make sure that when you hard close the app, now remember what I said earlier, when Healy connects to the app, the Bluetooth light starts to flash. When you hard close the app, that Bluetooth light's going to go off and Healy's going to go off. So remember, when you hard close the app, you're going to want to restart Healy first and then open the app. This is always the sequence. Start Healy first, then open the app. Okay, that's really important because of the way that the Bluetooth chip handshakes with the Healy software, the app itself. Okay. All right. Guys are talking about the cases and making it with the lasers. Awesome. Yeah, and this is good advice. Reverend Lindsay's talking about looking up the tooth itself, finding out what meridian that tooth is representing, because there is such a correlation between the teeth in our mouth and the meridians of our body. And when a tooth is having an issue, I promise you there's something going on with the body somewhere. So look at that correlation. It's really important because root canals, you can do that, but you haven't solved the entire issue, right? So that's the key thing we want to make sure and look at. And there's some great integrative dentists out there that are much, much more into curing the whole body instead of just, a root canal or drilling it into a tooth. Let's get the whole body involved. You can, you can Google that on the tooth chart, the meridian. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Reverend Lindsay. Okay. And then, of course, Miguel's in there giving some recommendations on what to do. Remember, he's talking about clearing the cache on your smart device, the data. So those are ways of getting rid of the old connections in between the app and your hardware, or your smart device. Okay, let's see. So Pam is saying that when you get that problem, you have to delete the app and reinstall it. So that's, I'm assuming you're talking about when the screen goes, or the program goes back to the beginning, cycles back, and you have to start again. Yeah, that's it's a possibility that you have to redo that app. But if you've tried shutting it down, hard close it. Remember, another part of hard closing is turning your smart device off and just let things reset. Also, how many other apps are you running in the background? That's important. I ask people all the time, how many apps are you running in the background? And they're like, what do you mean? Do you know how to hard close an app? What's hard close mean? Well, I guarantee you there's probably 100 apps running in the background if you don't know how to do it, because every time you switch from app to app to app, they all stay running in the background. And you want to hard close all those prior to running your Healy. And the reason for that is because all of those apps consume vital resources from your smart device. The CPU, the memory, all the what's called the IO, or in-out operating system. It's all consumed by all this stuff in the background. Okay. All right. Yeah, so folks are giving awesome advice. Thank you very much. And remember, folks, if you want to save this content, you want to save the chat at the bottom far right down there, those three little dots. You click on those, and it'll give you the ability to save the chat if you're on your computer. If you're on a mobile device, not able to do that. But on your computer, you can. And sometimes it's good to have this for review. Okay. All right. Thanks, you guys, for all these questions. Let's see here. Let's see. So Toby is just kind of saying the only time I connect my Healy to the Wi-Fi is when I'm checking for updates, such as the pink is synchronizing. Yep. Or adding new clients. Both apps will run with the 3 toggles turned off in the cloud settings. In other words, not auto syncing, not syncing to the cloud. So the key thing, understand that once you've loaded the apps on your smart device, and then you've activated those apps with your Healy, and it's kind of gone to your cloud, you've set up your master key, all that stuff has happened. You don't need Wi-Fi anymore except to back up your system. You can be out in the middle of nowhere and run your Healy because it just operates off of the Bluetooth, which is simply a proximity signal, right? You just got to be within 32 feet to be able to send a program to the Healy hardware or to interface with the Blue Dot. Remember, the Blue Dot app has to be running in real time in order for it to do its job. It's a two-way handshake. The app itself sends content to the Healy sends content back from you to the app, and then that analytics take place in real time. So very important that the Blue Dot stay connected when you're running analysis and scans. Pink Dot, not true. You can send a program to the Healy, and then you can shut the app off and the Healy will run by itself. Okay. All right. Another revelation from Reverend Lindsay. You discovered that recently you had left a Healy app open on a second device and it was blocking my startup from my main device. And that's true. Remember, the app is going to connect to one Healy. Why is that important? Well, because if you're in a room at an event with all of us, we all have Healys, right? We're not going to want to be connected to somebody else's Healy. So it's very unique. The signature of each hardware is unique, and the app locks onto that signature and nobody else gets in. Nobody. So, and it can be running in the background. You don't know it. And let me tell you this, folks, you got multiple Healys and you have one plugged in somewhere and you have another one that you have running. And when you go to use your Healy, it's going to look at both of them because the Healy that's plugged in is actually turned on, right? And so it's going to look at both of them and it may connect to the other one. And the way you can tell if it's connected to a Healy that's plugged in is the little battery charge indicator at the top will be red and it'll say 100%. That's because it's reading a device that's plugged in. It's not one that's running on the battery. So you can tell right away. It's like, why is it red? It's because it's plugged in. It's the wrong Healy. All right. Let's see. Linda's saying, just getting on here. Oh, welcome. I'm glad you're here. The YouTube segment on hard close does not state hard close. Please describe it again. Okay, so if you just search hard close Android app within the YouTube, you'll get YouTube posts, you'll get presentations come up. Or you say hard close Apple app, whatever. It's going to come up with stuff. And it may be specific. It will be specific by like Apple has different ways in which you hard close an app. Getting to that function that allows you to swipe up is different on some of the models. So you want to be specific. Say, how do I hard close an app on my iPhone 13? And that's going to give you some more content, more specific. So hard closing is, again, it's very specific to the hardware. Which smart device do you have? If you're looking at Apple, you've got a smart device that has a little home screen, a home button at the bottom, right? Or a device that does not have a home button at the bottom. Two different ways to hard close an app on those two devices, even though they're Apple. All right. Let's see. There's a question here about, will the MagHealy have a protection from EMF component? It does. Well, it has. In fact, I want you to go to your back office and pull the MagHealy flyer. It's really good. Grab it. Go to your back office. If you're not sure where that's at, go to your back office. Look at tools, and then under tools is my downloads. There's a plethora of great content in there. So take a look at that. It's going to give you some great categories and features of the MagHealy. We're going to do some more training on it. Well, there's already training happening. In fact, Doc Steve just did something today, right? Did anybody catch that? There was an interview and some training that Doc Steve did. Yeah, that was today. So hopefully we'll get that posted where you guys can go look at it. Okay. Let's see. Here's a question about wondering why my Healy just stops sometimes in the middle of a program that I'm running. Yeah, so that's a great question. Is there interference between your smart device? Where are you? You know, if you're in the midst of a lot of technology and such, that may be now. When you say your program stops, does the Healy green light shut off? Right? Does it actually shut off, or does maybe the app just shut off for some reason? Because if the green light's still flashing on the Healy, then the program's still running in the background, and you can actually restart the app on your smart device and go right back where it left off, and you'll be able to you know, keep it running. But if the green light actually shuts off and the Healy's stopped, then I would look at maybe interference issues. You know, did somehow you push the button? I mean, that's another thing. You know, you can grab it and push the button, that'll shut it off. Or even leaning on it. If you're wearing it around your body on a necklace and you lean on something, that'll turn that button off, right? And then all of a sudden it's not on. I get pretty active with my Healy, and so I got to be careful not to be laying. I'm doing stuff, you know. I might be laying on my chest digging for something, and all of a sudden I'm squishing the button. Yeah, I don't recommend doing that, by the way. Take good care of your Healy. All right. Let's see. Are the vital substances and digital nutrition the same or overlapping? Yes, they're in there. Digital nutrition has mixes in it that include those vital substances. So there's been some changes, the renaming of things. In fact, you may even still see in your blue dot some of the digital nutrition names and vital substances. You'll see duplicate names. Now they're working, I think that's cured in most cases, but I'm still hearing some people that are seeing duplicate line items in their blue dot in the database resources. So that's you know, just do an update and hopefully that'll all clear up on your blue dot. But yeah, they're in there. Vital substances, digital nutrition, it's all in there. What is a home button? It's so on an Android, it's a little box. It looks like a house, right? On an iPhone, it's this little button at the bottom of the hardware, this little round circle. But not all of the iPhone hardware has that. If you have, if you have a 12, 13, whatever, they don't have that, right? You see, there isn't that. The home button on these devices is actually a swipe up and over. Yeah, you swipe. There's a up and over kind of little swipe up and over, and that gets you to all the apps back there, right? So anyway, there's a YouTube on that. And it takes like if it's an iPhone, it just takes a little know-how, you know, do it a couple of times and you're an expert. Android got that little house at the bottom. Again, you can find a YouTube that's going to help you define that better. Okay. Thanks, Miguel. He's put the Vimeo channel in there, by the way, you guys. Our Vimeo channel, oh my gosh, have you guys been there? Like over 200 videos in there. Now, of course, there's lots of different languages for the same one, but still, there's a lot of resources in that Healy Vimeo channel. It's a good one. Subscribe to it, you know, use it. It's a great resource. So welcome, Izzy. Hi, you're here. Sorry I'm late, she says. If you already addressed this, well, that's okay. We'll do it again. In the natural cycle last night, she says that there were two frequencies, 1.7 and 26 sometimes, that always went black. I rarely get a black line except for frequencies below 5 hertz. Because it is a special program, I'm concerned that I may not be getting all the benefits that the program for that program. So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, we talk about frequencies even below 500. The body's going to need a little higher amplitude to get it through. And so knowing that, you're going to need to up the amplitude. Are you not getting it, or is the program less effective? Well, I'll tell you something that's what I use as my philosophy is even a mediocre transmitted program from Healy is better than 0 transmitted frequencies from Healy. It's better than 0. So I guarantee your body is getting an upgrade just from the content it received. And on the other side of that is the black indicator. Just because it's black just means it's below. I did talk about this a minute ago. Just means it's below the minimum threshold of the measurement. Not that you're not getting the frequencies. You still can be getting them. Not only just from the microcurrent through the wristbands or sticky pads, but remember also the Healy is sending those frequencies out of the noise generator into your proximity. So you're getting them as an antenna, as the body being an antenna. We've talked about this before. The body is a conductive material of water and minerals. And so magnetic energies that's being transmitted out around is being received, including what Healy is sending out. So yeah, I definitely recommend upping the amplitude so that you can increase the signal into the body. But don't think that that it's like non-effective because you're going black on that indicator. It's okay. Strive for getting a good white signal. If we stress about that, we're moving the body from what? From sympathetic from parasympathetic to sympathetic. We're moving it into fight or flight. We don't want that. So just say, okay, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to make some adjustments. I'm good. Right? Okay. All right. When I set it to run 8 at night, turns off. Okay, so there's Linda's talking about, sounds like she's talking about the blue dot. Yep. That when running a program at night, sometimes it goes off. Don't know when, probably, right? Just wake up, it's a blue screen. So this is part of the fix. This is part of the fix, the new update. So go to your app store, check for updates, and make sure you've got the latest and see if that helps you out. Toby, let me address this. So your final answer is that you need Wi-Fi to fully perform a scan from Blue Dot app. No. No. You do not need Wi-Fi. Once the Blue Dot app is set up on your smart device, you don't need Wi-Fi ever again if you don't want to. But all of the scans, all the clients you input will only be on the app. And if you delete the app, all that content's gone. So the reason for Wi-Fi after initial setup is so that you can update to the cloud. So you can send all those clients, all those lists to your Healy secure cloud account and save them like a backup to your phone, right? So you send them to the cloud, and now they're safe. Then if you have to delete the app or whatever, you've got all your client lists and all that kind of stuff saved. So, but no, you do not need Wi-Fi. In fact, of course, when you go on an airplane, you got to put your device in airplane mode. I still run my Healy. I just run the Bluetooth, right? Some of the operating systems, when you go into airplane mode, turns the Bluetooth off automatically. So all you got to do when you go into airplane mode, just go into your settings, turn your Bluetooth back on, and then you can run your Healy anywhere, even in airplane mode. All right. Okie dokie. So Linda's asking, what is the YouTuber called for the iPhones? Can't find one on hard close. You can't. I don't know. Maybe somebody can search one and drop it in there, but there should be. There's YouTubers in there that, you know, they want to be famous. They want to put something out there. All right. So Izzy pumped it up to 90 and still black. Only those two frequencies. Okay. So here's what we do. Let's do a little hardware test. I've done this before with you guys, right? You take the wristbands. Let me grab a couple of extra wristbands I got somewhere here. You take your wristbands. I'll just take these. Here, hold on. Grab my wristbands. Take your wristbands, connect to the wires. Okay. Hook up your Healy. Run the program with the frequency in question. Turn it on. Start the program. You've got your Healy connected to your wires. Okay, we're going to do this real quick, everybody. Super simple, really fast. Okay, you've got your wristbands, you got your wires connected, right? And notice, so I don't have mine there. There's full done. So you notice the side in which the button is plugged into, right? That's the side that would normally be outside. The other side is the side that would contact your skin, right? So you take the side of the band that would normally contact your skin, and you take the two bands, the side that would normally contact your skin, touch them together. Touch them together like that. You got the wires plugged in, right? You got it connected to your Healy. Turn the app on. Pinch them together like that. This is the sides that would normally touch the skin. Let me get you in the camera there. There we go. The two sides that would normally touch the skin. You're touching them together, pinch them together, then start the program. The indicator should go white because there's no body between these two now, right? No body. We're just touching them conductor to conductor. It should go white. If it goes white, when you're running that same frequency, you said what, 1.2 hertz? It goes white. That means that the hardware is okay. We got to deal with the body. Okay, no matter what, something within the body. Hydration is important. Electrolytes are important. The hydration between the wristband and the body. So you can take a little wet cotton swab and put in there. You can use electro gel on there. Be sure the body's hydrated, not just with water, but also electrolytes are important. Electrolytes are important. Proper hydration for a body is half your body weight in ounces of water per day. And that's not including if like you're in a hot climate. I was just telling you how hot it was around here. You're sweating, you're going to expel a lot of water. Yeah. And, or if you're exercising, another important thing. Okay. All right. Let's see. There's a question here that I do want to address that was sent to me in the background here. About can we isolate a single program in the blue dot? Okay, so remember when you run a scan in the blue dot, it's going to pull up a grouping of 5. Grouping of 5. The 5 most relevant. So when you're asking, can I isolate just one program? No. But can you isolate the top 5 within a program page? Yes. So in other words, the first scan, if you're using all Healy programs, the first scan you do in the Resonance app is going to net you an answer of the top 5 pages. Okay, there's like 18 pages and up to 12 programs per page, right? So it's going to net you the top 5 pages recommended for your alignment, whatever it's trying to accomplish with your body. So it's going to find the top 5. Okay, cool. But that's a lot of content, right? And if you want to drill down each page individually, you have to go back and run another scan on each page individually. Then it's going to net you the top 5 on each page, AKA 25 individual programs that are the top needed programs for your body in this moment in time. Okay. And then you can apply them however intuitively or sequentially that it was offered to you by percentage. Okay. So that's how I work it. Let's see. Okay. So Linda, you're saying you can't find anything. It says hard close. Search close app. Just say, how do I close an app on my iPhone? Search that in YouTube. Okay. I'm a bit behind. Sorry, folks. Not sure if you're getting some answers down the line here, but anyway. Let's see. Izzy's asking also in the natural cycle, is there a guideline as to how long before and after running a cycle you should eat a meal? That's a great question, because if you're activating a specific organ, I want you to understand too, it's based, the programs, the recommendation and the times are based on the circadian rhythm where you are and in which that organ is going to be most activated. Okay. So if you're a night shift worker and you're eating at 3 a.m., you're going to throw things out of balance. I mean, that's just because the body's still interfacing or handshaking with the earth. And just because you work the night shift doesn't mean you can change the rising and the setting of the sun. Your body, the optic nerve is what determines these activations. And what hemisphere you're in determines how that light is affecting the optic nerve. This is why the timing has been set a certain way. And so, think about, when are you eating? Go by the body. Go by the body. Are you hungry? Are you not hungry? Now, sometimes we've trained the body to not be hungry, right? But if you're in stress response, I promise you, the hormonal systems are out of balance. And it's hormone driven. The sensation of hunger is the hormone of ghrelin. And it kind of gives you that feeling of hunger, right? And then leptin is the other hormone that helps you feel satiated, full. There's two ways in which we feel full when we eat. One is the expansion of the stomach and the physical feeling of it. But the other one, you don't have to have the expansion. You just have to have the satiation, which is how the brain feels nourished. And then there's another hormonal response. So are you hungry? If you're in stress response, typically that either enhances or negates the hunger signal. Anybody know somebody who maybe nervously eats, right? That's stress response. So listen to your body. Okay. Looks like somebody found a YouTube here. 2 videos in the chat, one for iPhone. Force quit. Yep. Force close is another word for hard closing an app. Okay. Oh my goodness, we got like 1 minute left. Lightning round, hurry quick. Okay, try that strap test. Yes, yes, yes. Many experts suggest to only rescan those programs that are over 62%. Yes, thanks, Reverend Lindsay, that's true. If you get a full gamut of scan results that are like in the 50% or lower like that, then again, then you're probably doing quite well in terms of working with yourself. The things that are in this higher percentage, those are emergency roll call, right? It's like, let's get going, right? But people are doing work on themselves these days. And if you've had a Healy for a while, oh my gosh, you're going to start seeing those things go down. The relevancy, that's awesome. Okay. Let's see. I think that's it, guys. We are out of time. Dang it. I'm sorry. I think we kind of got through stuff. So Paulette's saying that the temperature is now 206 degrees. Ouch. Remember, the Healy has a temperature threshold, 104 degrees as a high. And I think it was 64 as a low, something like that. It's got humidity and temperature minimum and maximum thresholds. Look in your owner's manual. In the back of your owner's manual, I think it's section 7. something like that. There is a very good guide on parameters. Don't leave your Healy in your car on a hot summer day. You wouldn't leave your child or your dog in there. Don't leave your Healy in there, right? Let's take good care of our Healys. All right, you guys, big loves. Thanks for being here. I'm so happy to be able to serve you. I was solo today. Hopefully it all worked out okay, but Miguel was helping me out in the background. Thank you so much, Miguel. I appreciate you so much. Until next week, we'll see you later. But don't forget, tomorrow, What's Up Wednesday, we're going to have some good content there as well. All right, guys, have a good day. Bye for now.
Thank you.